So if you're anything like me, you may have struggled with being assertive, and you know what, that's what we're going to look at in today's video because it's definitely a skill that you will need. So keep watching. Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Aditi and today we're going to be looking at assertiveness, as I mentioned in the intro. So we're going to look at what assertiveness is and how to actually become more assertive. And also I'm just going to round off by saying a few things like sort of as a conclusion at the end. So what actually is assertiveness? So assertiveness is trying to get your point across without seeming rude or without like sugarcoating what you want to say. You don't want people walking all over you. You don't want people to take advantage of you, using you, anything like that. It's meant to be getting your point across, but also with empathy, you understand how the other person is feeling, you see their viewpoint, all of that, but you do still want to say what you want to say. It's not meant to be aggressive in any way, shape or form. That's not what it's meant to be. The first tip I would have for being assertive is to literally just speak simply and speak directly. This is an example that I've kind of like had experience with. So let's paint a picture of a situation. I'm in year 12, I'm about to apply to university and I'm getting my predicted grades for the subjects that I'm currently doing. I think that I've been given the wrong predicted grade. So in that case, what I would do is I'd go to a teacher, head of year, something like that, and I'd be like, I think you've given me the wrong grade. But I wouldn't say it in a way that seems rude or mean. Like, I would say it in a way that is simple and direct. Like, I'm not going to sugarcoat the matter, and I'm going to make sure that they know exactly what I'm talking about. And being direct in that case, I would bring up a few examples of my work, and I would be like, this is why I think I should deserve X grade. And that is a beautiful way of being assertive, as it clearly states exactly what you're looking for, exactly what your request is, and it makes sure that the other person feels that you're not backing down in any way. Because if you show any sort of sign of weakness in that sort of situation, then they are going to take advantage of that. So being simple and direct is a really, really important thing. Also, one other thing, don't over-explain yourself. That is not a good thing to do. I am probably victim to this as well, so that's something I'm trying to consciously improve on. But say if you're late to school, work, something like that, don't over-explain yourself in that situation. Just be like, sorry I'm late, or even better than that, thank you for waiting. That's so much better. Thank you for waiting. Just be like, I got held up, I got stuck in traffic. You don't need to go through the entire story. You don't need to go through the entire sequence of events. And it kind of just makes the other person feel a little bit uncomfortable, a little bit weird. It kind of makes you look a bit unpolished as well, so that's not something you want to show another person. Also, what over-explaining does is actually reduce the impact of what you're trying to say. Let's go back to the grade situation. If you feel like you've been given the wrong grade, and you start to over-explain yourself, you start to get flustered and everything, you know, it doesn't end well. But if you know exactly what you want to say, lay out your points clearly, the person on the receiving end knows exactly what you're trying to say, and they are more likely to comply with whatever you're asking for. Okay, secondly, use I statements instead of you statements. Saying I statements in situations that could already be slightly difficult makes it a lot easier, and that way you're still able to say exactly what you want to say, just in a softer, more polite manner. It's kind of like the psychology behind these things. If you say you're never this, you're always doing this, it kind of triggers the other person. It makes them feel blamed. The next thing is practice saying no. No can be such a hard thing to say, but you know, if you grew up with Horrid Henry like me, then N-O spells no Henry. That's what you need to practice. No spells no. And there's actually a load of different ways of saying no without saying the word no. So you can say, I've changed my mind, I'm not interested, I'm no longer available. You can say things like, I'm not equipped to help you. If someone's coming to you with a problem that you genuinely feel like you can't help them with, please stop interrupting me, please stop cutting me off, I don't think that was funny. You know, these things, these statements really add to that assertiveness that you're trying to achieve. Saying no is probably one of the best things that you can do for yourself. So Say if someone is constantly coming to you with loads and loads of work, they're delegating all of their work onto you, but because you aren't able to say no, you're taking it on and you feel overwhelmed, you feel stressed, your mental health has gone to nothing, your physical health is suffering, you know, all of that. And that was only because you couldn't say no, you felt like you had to do what they asked you. Okay, now take that situation and replace it with an assertive you. So this time you're saying no, you're actually saying it to the person who's requesting you to do all this work. It protects your peace, it protects your well-being. And basically what it does, it means that you aren't biting more than you can chew. I have no idea if that's the saying, but we're gonna pretend it is. If you do feel like you have a habit of saying yes when you don't want to, it could be a sign of people pleasing. What people pleasing is basically saying yes to people just because you want them to be happy, even if it like sort of overrides your own happiness. So just be careful of that. It does take a long time to get out of people pleasing. It does take a lot of conscious effort as well, but you can do it. If I can do it, you can 100% do it. But yeah, back to saying no for things. It just means that you have a filter on what you allow in your life and what you don't allow in your life. And it kind of sends a signal to everyone else at the same time that you aren't going to allow for anything like rubbish to come your way. You know what you want and you're only going to do things that serve you. Even though you may not be directly assertive to someone, just having that image and that aura around you of self-confidence, self-esteem, self-respect and assertiveness just means people aren't going to ask you as much because they know that you have the capacity to say no. Also, there's one thing I want to say. Assertiveness in general, it's a lot to do with saying things rather than requesting things. So what I mean by that, if we go back to our please stop interrupting me example, requesting it would be, can you stop interrupting me please? Just saying it would be, please stop interrupting me. Both are equally valid and they're both polite. They are not mean in any way. They are both assertive, but the one that is more assertive is the one where you just say it. Please stop cutting me off, please stop interrupting me. Obviously in certain cases you do need to ask, like say if you wanted to take a day off work or something, you do need to ask for that. I'm not saying don't ask and just take the day off, that's not what I'm saying, but there are definitely things that you'll probably know for yourself that you don't have to ask for, that you can just say. That kind of leads me on to my next point. So my next point is, be careful what you say sorry for. You don't need to say sorry for everything. So firstly, you don't need to be sorry for being busy. Don't need to be sorry for setting boundaries. You don't need to be sorry for saying no. You don't need to be sorry for speaking or standing up for yourself. And you don't need to be sorry for taking up space either. And that list is definitely not exhaustive. There are hundreds and hundreds of things that you should not be sorry for. If I go back to the being busy example, you're allowed to be busy. You're allowed to do what you want with your time. Literally just ask yourself the question, does this require an apology? And go from there. If you need to apologize, apologize. Don't be annoying. But if you don't need to apologize, then don't. Keep that assertive image. Be really confident in yourself. I think self-confidence and assertiveness really link in that way. If you haven't already, then watch my self-confidence video straight after this one. Watching both videos is probably a good thing for this sort of topic. And finally, I'm going to go back to talking about making an assertive request. So if we were talking about the grade situation again, we're talking about requesting them to change your grade. Think about the worst case scenario. I think this definitely helps, especially if you feel that assertiveness doesn't naturally come to you, because it definitely did not to me. The worst case scenario is going to be no, pretty much. In that case, first thing is, you tried. You made sure that you gave it a shot and you asked. Secondly, do not be embarrassed by it. You asked, it failed. That's okay, failure is good. That's something I mentioned in my last video. You know that through practicing asking, you have become more assertive. You as a person have grown. Embarrassment in those situations, visible embarrassment, such that the other person can see that you're embarrassed, doesn't help. Also, that embarrassment will most likely prevent you from being assertive next time, when it may matter a bit more. But yeah, really having that self-confidence to pick yourself up shows a massive amount of assertiveness, and it kind of just means you've already succeeded. But a few last words I do want to say is that it does take time. That is something I mentioned a little earlier on in the video. You're gonna feel really weird doing it, and that's just how it is, but know that it is for the best, and what you're doing is for the right reasons, and it's for yourself. It's much better in the long term. So suffer in the short term, but you're gonna gain in the long term massively. It 100% increases the respect you have for yourself. As that respect for yourself increases, you feel more confident, you have more self-esteem, and you just feel a lot more content. Even though it will take time, that's okay. Take as long as you need, but make sure you do get there with whatever means. Just watching videos like this, you've already done something great for yourself. But that is it for this video. If you enjoyed it, then smash the like button, and also subscribe if you haven't already. Also hit the bell icon if you'd like to see weekly content from me on productivity, personal growth and self-development. If there's anything that you want me to make, especially, then let me know in the comments. You can probably DM me on Instagram. But yeah, talking about Instagram, follow me there. And on TikTok, I've actually been having so much fun making TikToks recently. So yes, TikTok. But yeah, that is it from me today. I should be going now, so I will see you in another video. Bye!